everybody. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My name is Samantha Genzer. I'm going to be your show host for you guys today. We have a great show for you guys. We're going to be covering the Meijer LPGA Classic, recent WNBA games, the U.S. Swimming Olympic trials updates, some NWSL updates as well, and make sure you guys stay till the end to hear about the official completed roster for the U.S. rowing team for the Olympics. Before we start, I wanted to ask you guys to like and follow the show and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. You can also get your questions to the top of the list because we do get a lot of questions and comments that come from viewers during the show. So by using this link, your questions and comments go at the top of the list so that I see them and they get read on the air. Your support also means a lot to us and we really do appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy today's content. Okay, so we're going to be starting today's episode by talking about the Meijer LPGA Classic. And I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've been saying it correctly all day, and now I feel like as soon as I started this live stream, I can't pronounce it. Anyway, the Classic. Okay, so it took place from the 13th to the 16th. This is an annual competition, and the competition this year took place at the Blythefield Country Club, or the BCC, at Belmont, Michigan. So let's start with first round. Obviously, that would be a great place to start. Okay, so at the end of the first round, Allison Lee was the leader at -7 after 18 holes, while holding a 2-shot lead over 9 golfers at -5. Lee said her biggest strength that day was her putter. She said she was satisfied at the end of round 1, and I mean, I would be too if I was leading. After round 1, there was a huge tie for second. This typically happens after round 1, I feel like. Brooke Henderson was one of them in the tie. Second place finished their round at -5. Brooke Henderson had a strong back 9, including an eagle on 18 to finish the round at -5. After round 1, Henderson said, "It was extremely windy. It was really tough to judge. I feel like the first few holes I didn't hit a fairway and was really getting up and down. I made a lot of clutch par saves, which really kept the momentum and the round going. Then making that eagle at 8, got me under par, got me feeling a lot better, and I was able to make some birdies on the back. So it was playing really tough today. So I feel like -5 in the afternoon wave was a bit of a bonus. So I'm happy and hopefully just carry it forward." Other notable golfers that were second were Naren Ann, Suchai Chang, Jennifer Kupcho, and Carlotta Singanda. Okay, so round 2 took a little bit of a turn. Not really, though. Okay, actually, it kind of did. I don't know. Okay, well, that's up to your judgment. So 3-time LPGA Tour winner Ally Ewing shot the round of the week through 36 holes with a 9 under 63. Moving from 33rd after her first round 70, Ewing sits in a tie for the lead at -11 alongside young Aussie star Grace Kim, who went 68-65 in rounds 1 and 2 to put herself in prime position heading into moving day. So yeah, I guess you could say it took a little bit of a turn. Ewing started the day just before Kim teeing off on number 1 in the morning wave and sinking 2 birdies right off the bat. She added another on the par 3 5th and then made an impressive eagle on the par 5 8th, her second of the week on that hole, but in a completely different fashion. After making the turn in 31, Ewing added 4 more birdies on the back to come in at 63, tying her career low round on the LPGA Tour and her career best 36-hole score with 133. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the course, Kim was also going low, getting off to a hot start with birdies on numbers 11, 12, and 14. She dropped a shot with a bogey on 17, but quickly made up for it and then sum up with an eagle on 18. After a frustrating streak of 5 straight pars, she finally sank 3 consecutive birdies on 6, 7, and 8 to finish 7 under on the day and -11 overall. It wasn't long ago that Kim last held a 36-hole lead at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro, which was really recent, really. Kim dominated the field at Walsh Country Club during rounds 1 and 2, but ultimately finished tied at 25th after 2 tough rounds on the weekend. Hunting for her second LPGA Tour victory, Kim is taking each opportunity at the top to, quote, learn how to win, and that's what she said. There was indeed a stacked leaderboard behind Ewing and Kim, with Nana Korarsson Madsen and Naren Ann just behind them at -9 and in a tie for third. 5 players follow them at fifth, including Allison Corpez and Henderson. Jin Yan, who is the only player in the field to go boogie-free in both rounds at Blythefield Country Club, is also among those tied for fifth with Saturday ahead. 81 players made the cut at -2, including defending champion Leona Maguire and 2015 Meijer LPGA Classic champion Lexi Thompson, who missed the cut in her last 4 starts on tour. Notables to miss the cut are 6-time 2024 tour winner Nelly Korda and major champion Minjee Lee, and those two were probably where the turn happened here, just because that was not expected. I actually made a video last week saying who exactly to watch in this tour, like keep your eye on, because these players are really great typically, and it's not that they had a bad round. Well, I guess they technically did, but it was just unexpected. So round 3 showed a great performance by Australian Grace Kim. Kim pulled clear of the field, firing a 6-under par 66 to open up a commanding 5-shot lead heading into the final round. Started the third round alongside Allie Ewing at the top of the leaderboard after 36 holes, but the 23-year-old from Sydney produced another dazzling round to put clear daylight between her and the chasing pack in her pursuit of a second clear LPGA Tour win. She rattled off a trio of birdies on the 5th, 6th, and 7th holes to reach the turn 3 under for the day, 14 under overall. There was a hiccup on the par 5 10th, but when she took a boogie, but she was soon back into the groove with birdies on the 13th, 15th, and 16th holes before extending her advantage to 5 shots by rolling in a 6-foot birdie putt on the par 5 18th. Kim revealed afterwards she had been determined to avoid a repeat of her performance in Los Angeles earlier this season, when she led by 4 strokes after 36 holes, only to blow up with a 5-under par 76 in her third round. So she had a lot of pressure on her. Overnight, co-leader Ewing, meanwhile, could have stayed in striking distance of Kim, but 2 late boogies on the 15th and 17th holes dropped her into a cluster of 5 players on 12 under. Ewing, who finished with a 1-under par 71, is tied for second alongside Sweden's Anna Nordqvist, Naren, and Americans Allison Corpez and Lexi Thompson after this round ended. Thompson and Nordqvist took advantage of benign conditions to shoot 7 under par 65, the lowest scores of the third round. Thompson's round included an incredible streak over the front 9 where she reeled off 4 straight birdies, followed by an eagle and a birdie to make the turn at 7 under. So round 4 was the final round on Sunday. This was very interesting. This was kind of a twist here in a way. Lilia Vu ended up coming on top. I did not expect this. Then again, every single time I make a call prediction, I'm always wrong, I feel like. And this was a great win for her, as she was coming back from a back injury and spoiling Lexi Thompson's bid for her first victory in 5 years. So it was pretty brutal. Playing for the first time since the Ford Championship in late March in Arizona, Vu beat Thompson and third-round leader Grace Kim with a 5-foot birdie putt on the third extra hole. Vu birdied the par 5 18th in regulation for a 7-under 65, then twice more to match Thompson and Kim, who entered the day 5 strokes ahead of Thompson and a clear Vu on the first 2 playoff holes. On the deciding hole, the 27-year-old former UCLA star hit her second shot into the bunker to the right of the green and blasted out to set up the birdie. Thompson and Kim missed long birdie tries after laying up following errant drives. Vu said, "I think this is the most meaningful win because there was a time 2 months ago where I was just crying on the range, not being sure if I'd ever play a tournament again without pain. Like to be here today, it's just incredible." Thompson, the 2015 winner, has said that this will be her last year playing a full schedule. She won the last of her 11 LPGA Tour titles at the ShopRite LPGA Classic in June 2019, and she said, "It was an amazing day out there. The golf is one thing, but just to be able to play in front of all amazing fans, especially coming down the stretch and on the playoff holes, I don't think I've heard cheers like that unless it's like the Solheim Cup." So to finish off this recap, let's just quickly go over the final scores and placements and their prize money. It was a $3 million purse, which is absolutely, I always just, hearing how much money that is, I always just assume that it goes to the first place winner, like $3 million. I don't know why, but like that's just always what I assume. And then I like hear the prizes and I'm like, oh wait, that's not how that works. Anyway, Don't know if that's just me that just always thinks that as soon as I hear like prize money, but so in first was Vu, like I said, she won $450,000. Tied at second was Thompson and Kim, like I said, both winning a prize of $234,649. Ali Ewing was in fourth, winning $152,634, and fifth was Allison Corpez and Naren Ann, both winning $111,685, and seventh was Kristen Gilman, taking home $84,136. Tied at eighth was Ayaka Faru, Athaya Thetical, Ryan O'Toole, and Allison Lee. They each won $64,032. And then tied at 12th was Eugene Sung, Georgia Hall, Paula Rito, and I'm so sorry, I'm so going to say this name incorrectly, and I sincerely apologize, Netha Krita, Bong Tao Vilap, and Anna Nordquist, winning $46,162. Tied in 17th is Hera Navid, Laura Hartledge, Gabriella Ruffles, Nana Koris Madsen, Carlota Singanda, Natalia Guseva, Aditi Ashok, and Alexa Panna, winning a prize of $33,803. Tied at 25th is Uriah Jutanugarn, Marina Alex, Jin Hee M, Jin Yam, and Yuna Neshimuru, taking home a prize of $26,358. So, we're now going to move on to our next segment where we recap recent WNBA games. This is probably one of my favorite segments of today, so I recommend staying around for that. Before we get into that, we're going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you all very soon.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done recapping the Meijer LPGA Classic, and now we're going to be recapping recent WNBA games. In a show last week, we did the same thing, cover recent WNBA games, and we are basically taking where we left off, pretty much. So we're going to talk about the games from Wednesday, June 12th to Sunday, June 16th, which was yesterday. And if you guys are enjoying this type of segment, leave a comment and let us know so we can maybe continuing doing some recap of WNBA games, because I do enjoy talking about them, obviously. Okay, so starting with the June 12th games, the Connecticut Sun and Chicago Sky went head-to-head. Here we go. Okay, so the Sun, it came on top, not shockingly, at 83-75. Alyssa Thomas scored 10 of her 20 points in the fourth quarter, and Breonna Jones scored 14 of her 18th in the first half. Connecticut opened the fourth quarter on a 10-3 run, started by Tiffany Mitchell's steal and fast break layup. Thomas also had a steal and transition basket to make it 68-55. Chicago guard Diamond DeShields made a three-pointer with 28.9 seconds left to pull within 79-75, so it got really close by then. But Dewana Bonner sealed it with 2 free throws at the other end. Bonner finished with 16 points and 8 rebounds, and Tyesha Harris had 13 points and 7 assists for Connecticut. Thomas also had 6 of the Suns' 13 steals, which is really impressive. So rookie Angel Reese, she had a season-high 20 points and 10 rebounds for her 4th straight game with a double-double for Chicago. She really is showing her star power there. She was 8 of 10 from the field to set another season high for makes. Camila Cardoso, Kennedy Carter, and Marina Mabrey each scored 10 for the Sky. They did great as well, but I will say that Reese was a standout player for the Sky. And that's not being biased because, of course, I am paying a lot of attention to her because she is Angel Reese. But I did feel like she just stood out in general. Also on the 13th, the Indiana Fever beat the Atlanta Dream 91-84. Fever's total points marked a season high in points scored in a game in 2024. 4 Fever players scored in double figures, led by center Aliyah Boston's 27-point season-high 13-rebound double-double, which marked her 3rd double-double of the season. Boston's 27 points tied a career high in scoring, and her 17 points in the first half tied a career high in points scored in either half of a regular season game. Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell followed with a season-high 24-point performance, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals to go along with a 3-point field goal at the end of the first half to give Indiana its largest halftime lead this season, 59-44. This is one of Caitlin Clark's lower scoring games, only having 7 points, which really shocks me. I don't know how that happened, but I mean, she still did well in other areas with 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks. Also on Thursday, the Seattle Storm beat the Dallas Wings 92-84. This marks the Wings' 6th consecutive loss. The Storm scored 27 points off of Dallas's 19 turnovers, so it was overall a very rough game for the Wings. Skylar Diggins-Smith scored 21 points, and Jewel Lloyd added 19. Also, Easy McBoygor recorded her 4th double-double of the season with 10 points and 10 rebounds for Seattle. She also had 2 blocks to extend her streak of games with 2+ blocks to 13 straight, the 7th longest in WNBA history. On a brighter side for the Wings, Arika Egamboale scored 24 points to extend her WNBA record to 11 consecutive games with at least 20 points to start the season. She's led Dallas in scoring in every game this season, and that is not shocking at all. She is, I've mentioned this many times, but she's one of my favorite players in the WNBA. I'm just really shocked that the Wings keep losing so terribly. It's just not been going so good for them right now. Anyway, the last game on Thursday was the Las Vegas Aces v Phoenix Mercury, and the Aces won the game 103-99. This was a very high-scoring game, as you can see. If you like high-scoring games, go check this game out. Jackie Young scored 21 of her career-high 34 points in the second quarter, and Asia Wilson had 32 points and 15 rebounds. This game ended the Aces' 3-game skid. Young and Wilson became the 3rd duo in franchise history to each score 30-plus points in a game. Wilson scored 25-plus points for the 8th straight game to pass Tina Charles' WNBA record of 7. For the Mercury, Brittany Griner had 25 points and 9 rebounds. Diana Taurasi had added 22 points, and Kalea Copper scored 18. Las Vegas scored a season-low 12 points in the first quarter before erupting with 42 in the second, behind 10 for 10 shooting from 3-point range for a 54-51 halftime lead. The way that they were able to get back up there gave me a lot of hope for them. But don't worry, we'll be talking about them later in the segment. So Young then scored 5 3-pointers in the second. The 21 points was the most in any quarter in Young's career. Wilson, who scored 10 of Las Vegas's 12 first-quarter points, and Kelsey Plum each made a 3-pointer in back-to-back possessions to give Las Vegas its first lead. Alicia Clark made a 3-pointer from the corner with 2 minutes 12 seconds remaining to give Las Vegas a 95-91 lead. She added 2 free throws on the next possession, and Young made it 99-95 on a jumper from the free throw line with 46.3 seconds left. Then on Friday, June 14th, the Washington Mystics and the Chicago Sky had a super close game, ending an 83-81 victory for the Mystics. Ariel Atkins scored a season-high 29 points on 9 of 3 shooting. Julie Vanloo hit a 3-pointer with 2 minutes 49 seconds to play that ended a scoring drought of 5+ minutes for the Mystics and stretched their lead to 79-71. Lindsay Allen answered with a layup. Kennedy Carter added a 3-point play, and Angel Reese was fouled as she made a layup and hit the and-1 free throw to cap an 8-1 spurt and trim Chicago's deficit to 81-79 with 1 minute 12 seconds left. Atkins responded with 2 free throws before Allen made a driving layup that made it a 1-possession game with 50 seconds to go. The teams exchanged empty possessions before Allen missed a potential winning corner 3-point shot in the closing seconds. Stephanie Dawson of the Mystics fouled out when she dived for the loose ball with 0.2 seconds left. I have not talked about her much in my channels whenever I talk about the WNBA, but she always sneaks in there with certain things, like fouling out. I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, Marina Mabrey, who went into the game shooting 83% from the line this season, missed the free throws, and the Mystics held on. I think that gave the Mystics a lot of confidence, to be honest, like to get back out there. Rookie Aaliyah Edwards fouled out with 16 points on 6 of 7 shooting. This really made me upset because I wanted to see her play more. And the Sky now have lost 3 games in a row and 5 of their last 6. Carter led Chicago with 16 points, and Reese had 10 points and 14 rebounds. The rookies' 5th consecutive double-double. I'm telling you, like, Reese is really, really performing well. Also on Friday, the Minnesota Lynx beat the Los Angeles Sparks 81-76. If you were a huge Sparks fan, you were going to be upset by how the Sparks have been doing. The Lynx now have won 3 consecutive games in 6 of their last 7. In this game, Nafisa Collier scored 30 points to go with a career-high 8 steals, and Courtney Williams had 15 points and 10 assists for her first double-double of the season. Williams also finished with 8 rebounds and 4 steals. Alana Smith scored 12 points, and Bridget Carlton added 11 for Minnesota. Rookie Rickea Jackson had her first career double-double, finishing with 19 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Sparks. Jericka Hamby, who signed a 1-year contract extension with Los Angeles on Thursday, added 16 points and 11 rebounds. R. McDonald scored 14 with 7 assists. On Saturday, June 15th, the Sun crushed the Wings 85-67. Rachel Bahan scored 16 points to lead 5 Connecticut players to, I think that's like all I was meaning to say. She scored 16. What did I just say? My brain. Wow, I'm like losing it. It's Monday, guys. She scored 16 points to lead 5 Connecticut players in double figures. Yes, I think that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, Gianna Carrington scored 14 points. Alyssa Thomas had 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And Brianna Jones scored 12 for Connecticut. The Sun jumped to a 10-0 lead and never trailed. The Wings went nearly 4.5 minutes without a field goal to close the third quarter as the Sun stretched their lead to 22 points going into the fourth. Tara McCowan had 16 points and 10 rebounds, and Maddie Circus also scored 16 for the Wings. Elgin Boale finished with 11 points on 2 of 15 shooting. Dallas made 1 of 16 shots from 3-point range, which was a 6.3% shooting average. That is, I'm like, I am like not doing well with that information. I'm very disappointed by how they're doing right now because I am a huge Wings fan. But just like hearing that like 6.3% shooting average, like from 3-point, like that's crazy. Like that's insane. Now the Wings have lost 7 games in a row. They are not looking too hot right now. The second game on Saturday was a New York Liberty v Aces game, and this game was a fun one to watch. During the preseason, I was just gathering my thoughts before the season would take off, and I predicted that we would see the Liberty and the Aces again in the finals. But looking at how the season is going, I feel like that might not be the case anymore, to be honest. So it was really interesting to watch these two teams go head-to-head in the middle of the season. Liberty ended up winning the game 90-82. Jonquil Jones scored a career-high 34 points, and Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu each had a double-double. Ionescu finished with 15 points and 12 assists, and Stewart added 14 points and 12 rebounds for New York. Benita Laney Hamilton had 12 points and 7 rebounds. Kelsey Plum hit a floater that gave the Aces a 53-47 lead with 6 minutes, 33 seconds left in the quarter. They then went scoreless for nearly 5 minutes. Kate Martin hit a 3-pointer to break the Las Vegas scoring drought, and Asia Wilson followed with a bucket in the lane. That cut the deficit to 61-58, but the Aces literally got no closer. Plum led Las Vegas with 22 points, and Wilson finished with 21 points and 9 rebounds. Alicia Clark added 13 points. Jackie Young had 10 points and 6 assists, and Kaya Stokes grabbed 12 rebounds. After this game, New York won its 8th straight game, while Las Vegas has lost 4 of its last 5 games. I'm really hoping that the Aces are able to make a comeback because they are not looking too hot right now at all. So yeah, I've been a bit disappointed with them right now. I don't know. I had a lot of confidence with them going into the season, and I don't really understand like how like things have just. I don't know. Y'all leave your opinions in the comments and everything on what you guys think is the problem with the Aces. I think I'm going to cover a segment talking about how they're kind of dropping from this top team to now not doing so hot, and like I want to cover like why that's happening, because I honestly don't understand why it is, and I'm trying to figure why it is. So I need to gather my thoughts on that before I speak upon it, because I'm lost for words. Okay, so the last game we're going to talk about is the game from Sunday. There are 3 games total Sunday, but we only have time for one game. So on Sunday, which is yesterday, the Father's Day, happy Father's Day to people out there. The Fever beat the Sky 91-83. This was a great game to watch, also because we got to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese go head-to-head again, and there was still that tension and rivalry between them, and every single time they go head-to-head, I feel like the game is super physical and competitive. Anyway, Clark and Lilia Boston are finally getting in sync, and naturally, Indiana looks like it finally has a winning combination. Clark overcame yet another physically demanding challenge from Chicago by finishing with 23 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, while Boston produced her 3rd consecutive double-double. For Clark, it was her best day as a pro. She made 7 of 11 shots and 3 three-pointers. Boston had 19 points and 14 rebounds, while Kelsey Mitchell added 17 points and Alyssa Smith had 15. But just like the first contest 2 weeks ago, Clark took a hard shot that knocked her to the ground, this time when college rival Angel Reese's right elbow hit Clark in the head. It was brutal. The difference this time, unlike the Carter play, was that the refs upgraded the foul to a flagrant 1 following a replay review, giving Clark 2 free throws and Indiana the next possession. Reese disagreed with side's assessment, complaining it was merely a basketball play. Regardless, the decision will only add fuel to a rapidly growing regional rivalry. On the other side, Reese did have 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists, while Camila Cardoso had 10 points and 1 rebound. I thought it was interesting the refs upgraded the foul to the interaction encounter to a flagrant foul. I think that avoided like all this, like, because I feel like as soon as that Carter thing happened, there were so many articles getting all about how Clark is being targeted, and I did cover multiple segments on how I think she is actually being targeted. And I feel like now that the refs have made a flagrant foul, they're kind of avoiding that whole issue a bit, because it's like settling people down. It's like, okay, like this is a foul, and we're addressing that this is a foul. It's just a lot more responsible way to approach the situation, I feel like, and I'm very happy that they reviewed it and said it was a foul, because it was a foul. And a flagrant foul, it wasn't like just like a foul, so it makes me very happy. But I don't know, I just feel like a lot of things could have been avoided if something like that was taken with the Carter foul as well. But with the Indiana Fever, I did want to mention something. We're gonna go back to their games in the beginning that I talked about with the Atlanta Dream. I think it's very impressive that they did beat the Atlanta Dream this much. Just because maybe that's not a good comparison now that I'm thinking about it. I just feel like the Indiana Fever did not do so well in the beginning of the season, and to see that they are getting that groove back, beating the Atlanta Fever and then now beating the Chicago Sky again, not just once, they're beating them again. I think it shows that they do have that winning ability, and they have that competitive spirit and an advantage in their team. I think their team is getting more together as a team, because in the beginning I did feel like they were playing like individually, at least. Like I feel like they weren't much of a team, if that makes sense. So I think that that's just showing that they're able to play more like a team. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it's making sense in my head, so I'm going to go with it. Okay, we're now going to move on to the next segment, where we're going to talk about the U.S. Swimming Olympic trials, some updates so far. Before we get into that, we're going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys very soon.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done recapping some recent WNBA games, and now we're going to be talking about the swimming Olympic trials, what's going on so far. Before we begin, I wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. This link also puts your questions and comments at the top of the list so that I see them and then get read on the air. And of course, we really do appreciate the support. It makes a huge difference. Now that we got that out of the way, it is time to talk about the Olympic trials. Okay, so the swimming Olympic trials are taking place from the 15th to the 23rd. The top two in each event can make the team for Paris individually, and the top 6 in the 100 meter and 200 meter freestyles can make the team for relays, should the overall roster not exceed 26 swimmers per gender. It gets a little confusing, to be honest. I was watching them yesterday and I was so lost a little bit, I'll be honest, on how they get selected and everything, because there hasn't been any finals. Well, there has, but we'll get into all of that. Just know that there's been some great qualifications so far and great records being made. So in front of a crowd of 20,689 people at Lucas Oil Stadium, easily the largest gathering ever to see an indoor swim meet, Gretchen Walsh verified her greatness with the fastest 100-meter butterfly ever by a woman. Then Katie Ledecky became just the 9th American swimmer to qualify for 4 Olympics, winning the 400 freestyle. She literally never fails to impress me. I love her so much. I am her biggest fan. That is not true. I know a bunch of people who are bigger fans than me. Anyway, Walsh started off by blowing away Sarah Soderstrom's 8-year-old record of 55.48 seconds in the butterfly, clocking a 55.18 seconds, and that is a pretty huge difference. The 21-year-old Virginia swimmer Walsh put the record on notice in the morning preliminaries by breaking 56 seconds for the first time in her career, then went much faster at night. When she saw the scoreboard, she broke into tears. Walsh turned at the 50-meter mark in 25.45 seconds, way under Soderstrom's record and way too fast, she thought, but she carried her speed through the back half of the race to validate herself as a long course superstar. Previously, Walsh had shattered records in numerous events and college meets that were contested in 25-yard pools. This was her widely anticipated coming out party in the big pool. Now, here's the hard part. Walsh still hasn't made the U.S. Olympic team, and that's what I mean by it gets so confusing. This was only a semifinal, and there are 2 more sizzling fast competitors in the event, which means that the world record could be lowered again at this meet. Okay, moving on. Tori Husk, who held the American record until Saturday night, qualified second for Sunday's final with a time of 55.79 seconds. Right behind her is Regan Smith at 55.92 seconds. All 3 are strong favorites to make the American team for Paris and other events, but only 2 of them can make it in this one. With 3 women under 56 seconds and all 8 finalists under 58, Saturday was the fastest night of butterfly in American history. It was insane. It's been a big week for Ledecky. She's also became a published author and made her 4th Olympic team, having previously competed in London, Rio, and Tokyo. Her winning time of 3 minutes 58.35 seconds was the 6th fastest of her career, and more significantly, it was faster than her time in winning the event at trials in both 2016 and 2021. Or 2020, whatever you want to. It's so confusing because of the pandemic. It's technically in 2021, but we call it the 2020 Olympics. Anyway, she was beaming in post-race interviews, succeeding in never letting these moments get old. Ledecky said, "It's special. I just try to enjoy each moment tonight. I feel like I enjoy this more and more each year. I pride myself on that consistency. I challenge myself to stay consistent. Ever since I made it to London, I never thought I made it here. I didn't dream of that as a young kid. After London, I wanted to prove I wasn't a one-hit wonder, but at the same time, I reminded myself that anything more than that is icing on the cake, cherry on the cake, whatever. That's just the focus I've been able to maintain." Her autobiography, Just Add Water, hit shelves on Wednesday. So she's been having a pretty big week. Saturday night, Ledecky captured the 400-meter freestyle title for the third straight time of trials to punch her ticket to Paris. With much more to come, the greatest distance swimmer in history, owner of 7 Olympic gold medals and 3 silver, should have titles here in the 800 and 1500 freestyles, both events in which she is the world record holder. She also is the top seed in the 200 free as she swims all 3 rounds in that event. Ledecky might opt to post a time during preliminaries that guarantees her spot on the American 800 freestyle relay, but take that race out of her individual program since it could be difficult to earn a medal in that distance. We'll see. Ledecky will face fierce competition in the 400 free in Paris, though, which is going to be super interesting. Australian Ariane Titmus defeated her in the thrilling 400 duel in 2021 in Tokyo and is the current world record holder. Titmus threw down a 3 minutes 54.44 seconds earlier this month in the Australian Olympic trials, showing that she remains in peak form. Then there was Canadian teenager Summer McIntosh, who held the world record for about 4 months last year before Titmus proclaimed it. McIntosh went under 4 minutes at Canadian trials in April. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be like rough competition, but I do have big hope for Ledecky. Following Saturday night's magnificent performances in the semis, all eyes were on Gretchen Walsh in the final of the women's 100 fly, and she put on a show. Walsh won Sunday night in 55.31 seconds, just off the world record of 55.18 seconds she set Saturday in the semifinals. Through 50 meters, she was faster than in her record race. Tori Huss took the second spot in 55.52 seconds, followed by Smith in 55.62 seconds. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I think I said Huss did 55.52 seconds and Smith was 55.62 seconds. So 0.1 difference there. Those 3 were nearly 2 seconds ahead of everybody else. Also, Gabrielle Rose at age 46 qualified for semifinals of the 100 breaststroke, lowering her best time to 1 minute 8.43 seconds. She was nearly 30 years older than the youngest swimmer in her heat. She lowered her time again to 1 minute 8.32 seconds in the semifinals and was 10th, not enough to make the cut to 8, unfortunately. Her time would have a bronze medal at the first Olympics Atlanta 1996 when she represented Brazil. She made the U.S. team in Indianapolis in 2000 and finished 7th in the 200 individual medley at Sydney. So she did have her big moments previously. Just 3 events will take place during Monday morning prelims at the 2024 U.S. Olympic trials, with the women's 400 IM 100s back. I'm sorry, I had something in my throat. Sorry, with the women's 400 IM, women's 100 back, and men's 800 free on the schedule. So that was this morning. I was thinking about it in the future, and I realized that today was Monday. I was like, wait, that's not. Anyway, Katie Grimes, the first athlete to qualify for Team USA in Paris after winning bronze in the women's 10 km at last summer's World Championships, headlines the 400 IM as the double world silver medalist, having placed in the runner-up position behind Canada's Summer McIntosh in both 2022 and 2023. Grimes has looked solid thus far in Indianapolis, advancing through the final of the women's 200 free, which will take place tonight. She also made the 400 free final, but scratched that out, unfortunately, so we will not be watching her there. Regan Smith lowered her American record down to 57.51 seconds less than a month ago and could be taking aim at Kaylee McCowan's record at some point over the next 2 days. The battle for second in the women's 100 back has been a much debated topic, with 2023 World Championship bronze medalist Catherine Burkhoff, 2024 World Champion Claire Couzon, and Tokyo Olympic finalist Ryan White among the main players in the running. Olivia Smoglia, the number 4 seed coming into the meet, was a surprising scratch this morning, making the battle for lanes in the semis and a final a little less crowded. After a massive improvement in the 100 fly, Regan Smith will be on world record watch in the women's 100 back after breaking the American record last month. And Emma Wayant made her move on the breaststroke leg in the final heat of the 400 IM, overtaking Katie Grimes and holding her off to claim the top seed into last night's final in 4 minutes 38.96 seconds. The performance of Wyatt inches under her season best time by 4 100s, having clocked 4 minutes 39 seconds at the Atlanta Classic last month. The 22-year-old is the reigning Olympic silver medalist in this event, having set her personal best at 4 minutes 32.76 seconds in that Tokyo final. Grimes looked comfortable en route to claim the second seed for the final in 4 minutes 39.63 seconds. She should have plenty more in the tank tonight, having been as fast as 4 minutes 32.76 seconds this year. And the top 3 spots heading tonight come out of that final heat as Alto Swim Club's Lucy Bell knocked nearly a second off her personal best in 4 minutes 40.79 79 seconds to advance in third. And then Team Greenfield's Lilia Bogner topped reigning world junior champion Leah Hayes in the first circle seeded heat, with Bogner clocking 4 minutes 41.14 seconds for fourth overall. Bogner's swim was just shy of her lifetime best 4 minutes 40.97 seconds set last summer, while Hayes won 4 minutes 42.97 seconds after setting a personal best of 4 minutes 36.84 seconds at World Juniors. Age group standout Audrey DeVeros has been a big swim out of an outside lane in Heat 3, dropping over 4 seconds to finish in a time of 4 minutes 45.23 seconds and move up to number 7 all-time in the girls 13 to 14 age group. The 14-year-old who came into the meet with a lifetime best of 4 minutes 49.32 seconds set last summer ended up cracking the final in 8th. Notably missing the final was Carmel Kayla Hahn, who was coming off a very impressive 4th place finish in the 400 free. Hahn, who's 16, owns a personal best of 4 minutes and 42.32 seconds, but only mustered a time of 4 minutes 47.71 seconds to finish 10th. Reagan Smith asserted herself in the final heat of the women's 100 back, responding to Catherine Burkhoff's blistering swim in the previous heat by adding another sub-58 to her resume. Smith fired off a time of 57.93 seconds for an 18th sub, 58 of her career, carrying the positive momentum she created in the 100 fly forward into one of her premier events. The 22-year-old broke her 5-year-old American record in the 100 back last month in 57.51 seconds, less than 2/10 shy of the world record. Burkhoff, who set a personal best of 58.01 seconds last year, rocketed to a time of 58.09 in the penultimate heat to advance second into the semis, doing so alongside Wolfpack teammate Kennedy Noble, who cracked 59 seconds for the first time in 58.55 seconds. Noble, whose previous best was 59.11 seconds, moves up to number 16 all-time in the event and number 8 among Americans. Going sub 59 for the first time was Tennessee Josephine Fuller, who improved her lifetime best by nearly 9/10 of a second, 59.69 to 58.80 to qualify fourth in the semis. 6 more women went under 1 minute, including Cal Isabel Staden, Tokyo Olympic finalist Ryan White, and reigning world champion Claire Curzon. Staden dropped just over a 10th form, her second season best, while White was 0.03 off, which is so insanely close. And 11th, 16-year-old Charlotte Crush dropped 5 100s from her best time in 1 minute and 0.02 seconds, remaining at 11th all time in the 15 to 16 age group. After missing the final of the 400 free and the semis of the 200 free, Florida Bella Symes was back in the water this morning in the 100 back, cracking 1 minute and 01 seconds for the first time in 1 minute 0.88 seconds and ending up 18th overall. So we're now going to move on to the next segment, where we're going to talk about some NWSL updates with Courtnee Vine, possible legal action with the Chicago Red Stars, and a new Cincinnati team. Before we get into all of that, we're going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys all very soon.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done talking about the swimming Olympic trials, and now we're going to talk about some NWSL updates. We have 3 things to focus on. Okay, so there were a lot of things that happened recently in the NWSL, and I wanted to update y'all on all of them. So 3 things in total. Okay, we're just going to begin. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the North Carolina Courage. This is some good, exciting news here. Okay, so the North Carolina Courage just recently signed Australian national team forward Courtnee Vine to a 3-year contract. She joins the Courage on a guaranteed deal through the 2026 NWSL season. Vine will join the team upon receipt of her P1 visa. She will be eligible to roster when the secondary transfer window opens on August 1st. Vine spent the last 4 seasons with Sydney FC of the Australian A League Women. She scored 30 goals with 4 assists to lead the club to 3 straight premierships from 2020 to 2021 through 2022 to 2023, and back-to-back grand final championship in 2022 to 2023 and 2023 to 2024. On the international stage, Vine has 28 caps for the Matildas, including 7 appearances during the 2023 FIFA World Cup. Her shining moment came with the clinching penalty kick on home soil over France in the quarterfinals. The forward has already been announced to represent Australia in the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Vine said, "The biggest reason I'm excited to join the Courage is their style of play. They play beautifully, possession-based football, and I'm excited to be part of the culture. I know some of the players. I used to play with Denise O'Sullivan. She's a humble person and a fantastic player, and I can't wait to be a part of the culture she's spread with the Courage." Vine has spent her whole professional career in Australia, starting out with the Brisbane Roar before spending time with the Newcastle Jets and Western Sydney Wanderers before joining Sydney FC in 2020. Across 8 seasons, Vine scored 36 goals and added 19 assists in 105 appearances. North Carolina Courage head coach Sean Anaha said, "We are thrilled to add Courtnee to our club. She has great international experience and can come in and instantly help us day in and day out. In my conversation with her, she's eager to learn and help in any way she can, both on and off the field. She has a very high soccer IQ and always looks to threaten in the final third. She's an explosive player, both on and off the ball, and will fit in perfectly with our style of play. We cannot wait to welcome her here in Courage Country." Okay, next thing I want to talk about was the legal action with the Chicago Red Stars. And this is big controversial things happening here. Okay, so the Chicago Red Stars are exploring venue options around their September 21st match against San Diego Wave FC, and their club may pursue legal action after a music festival saw their game booted from their home stadium. The Red Stars are coming off a historic single-game event at Wrigley Field where they set a league record attendance of 35,038 people. The standalone record is a rarity for the Red Stars, who have previously struggled with drawing fans out to Bridgeview during their nearly decade-long relationship with SeatGeek. The franchise moved all their home games out to the Chicago suburb in 2016, and during the 2023 regular season, where the club navigated an ownership sale, drew an average of roughly 5,000 at-home games. So the scheduling conflict arose after the Riot Fest announcement, as the club has a previously scheduled game set for September 21st. Riot Fest is a 3-day punk rock music festival. The annual event has been a part of Chicago's music festival scene since 2005. It got its start as a multi-venue event and later expanded into Chicago's park districts, with previous event years held in Union Park, Humboldt Park, and recently Douglas Park. Their production hasn't been without some controversy. The fest has faced criticism before from park neighborhoods, with residents vocal about damages to park grounds, displacement of youth programs, and access to local hospitals. Last year's festival drew 50,000 per day to Douglas Park, and this year's fest organizers officially broke away from the Chicago Park District. Ahead of the initial Riot Fest lineup announcement, Fest founder Michael, also known as Riot Mike Patrician, issued a statement noting the decision to relocate the event. The decision for Riot Fest to move didn't happen overnight, and he further explained in an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times that it was a month-long process. Sorry, my voice is now going away. Okay, so now let me get some background information about Bridgeview and the SeatGeek Stadium. So the village of Bridgeview is a Chicago suburb that is home to SeatGeek Stadium. The facility initially broke ground as a soccer-specific stadium for Chicago Fire, but challenges getting out to the southwest suburbs quickly grew over time. Eventually, new Fire ownership paid over $60 million to break their lease and depart the town to play their home game in the city at Soldier Field. The club has previously split home games, training days, and general operations with Chicago Fire, rugby teams, concerts, and even flag football, among other sporting events at the venue. The SeatGeek landscape is no stranger to holding multiple events in this area. The Red Stars have been partial tenants since 2016 and renewed their agreement in 2019. It is set to run through the end of 2025, and in the agreement, the village, quote, has the right to host concurrent events at the facility. The franchise has often held match days that coexist with local events. Ray Hanania, a spokesperson for Bridgeview, stated on Wednesday that the village is working with the club on the solution. He said, "Obviously, the Red Stars are very important to us and always have been, and we want to do whatever we can to ensure that they're satisfied." And I am quoting that, by the way. Okay, so on Thursday, he also offered extended remarks and confirmed the village's decision to welcome Riot Fest. He also explained that the Red Stars were given notice in April about the, quote, possibility of the need to move their September 21st match due to Riot Fest. And he revealed that as Riot Fest discussions were completed, the Red Stars were provided with written notice of the village's exercise of its right under its agreement with the Red Stars. Regarding Elite Sal's recent remarks about discrepancies between men and women's sports, Hanania stated, "The village's decision to schedule Riot Fest has nothing to do with gender." This is where we get into the controversy, more of the controversy. So the situation with the Red Stars getting bumped from their stadium for Riot Fest really highlights some bigger issues that women's sports teams often face. It's more than just a mix-up in schedules. It shows a continuing struggle to get the same respect and priority as men's teams, even when the women's team pulled in huge crowds like the Red Stars did at the Wrigley Field. It seems pretty odd that the Red Stars are getting pushed aside for a music festival, especially when they've had such a solid agreement with the venue. Even though the village of Bridgefield is technically allowed to host other events at the same time, choosing to prioritize Riot Fest, which has had its own share of community pushback over a major league game, feels like a slap in the face in some way. The village said this wasn't about gender, but it's hard to not see this as part of a bigger pattern where women's sports just don't get the same level of consideration. It's not just about the legal stuff or having the right to do it. It's about showing women's sports the respect they deserve. The Red Stars might even take this to court, which could be a big deal for setting how women's sports teams handle these kind of conflicts in the future. They're basically fighting to make sure their games aren't just brushed aside for other events. This whole thing really should make us think more about how we treat women's sports and work towards giving them the same understanding as the guys' games. It's about time that they got fair share of the spotlight. But at the end of the day, I do understand that the Riot Fest probably does produce more revenue, and I would understand if they wanted to prioritize that. But it does lead into question like about gender. Like this is kind of like this pattern that we've seen, that women's sports just kind of get dished aside sometimes. And that's kind of what it seems like is happening right now. So I'm hoping that it does get, a bit better. Things get solved here. But it will set a precedent for how the Red Stars do handle this controversy, especially if they take it to some legal action. So the third thing I wanted to mention with the NWSL was a huge innovation to the league. This is more happy news here. So exciting news is on the horizon at the Mercy Health Training Center. As it seems, FC Cincinnati's top brass are making moves to secure a NWSL team for the Queen City. Recent reports from Alex Silverman and the Sports Business Journal, confirmed by FCC CEO Jeff Birdie, reveal that Cincinnati is one of the 3 cities eyeing for an NWSL expansion team targeting the 2026 season. They're up against bids from Minnesota and Cleveland, but here's why I'm banking on Cincinnati clinching it. Okay, so Cincinnati's bid stands out for a couple of reasons: facilities and funding. TQL Stadium and the Mercy Health Training Center, or MHTC, are jewels in North America's sports facilities, already equipped with expansion capabilities and locker rooms ready for a women's team. Compared to the uncertainty of Minnesota and Cleveland, where stadium plans hinge on additional funding, Cincinnati's existing infrastructure puts them a step ahead. On the financial front, Birding and a robust group of local investors, including numerous businesswomen, are setting the stage for a well-supported team. While further details are yet to unfold, the strong investment track records of FCC backers suggest a solid financial foundation for its respective NWSL team. Now, let's talk about branding. This is the more fun stuff. A realm ripe for innovation is the branding for the Cincinnati team. Okay, so FCC's existing colors are beloved, but the branding could use a refresh. Imagine a new NWSL team sporting a crest featuring Cincinnati's iconic Union Terminal or the Tyler Davidson Fountain, with a striking blue primary and rose red secondary color scheme. It's a perfect opportunity to infuse local heritage into a dynamic new identity. As for the team name, NWSL has a knack for unique and meaningful names. Think, Kansas City Current or Portland Thorns. Even Chicago Red Stars. Here are a few playful suggestions for Cincinnati's that people have made up: Queen City FC, Cincinnati Sirens, Cincinnati Crowns, and Queen City Rangers. I personally really like Queen City FC and Cincinnati Crowns. Those flow very well. I feel like Cincinnati Crowns flows very well because you have double C's. And it is the FCC. So it's kind of makes sense. So there's 2 C's there, if that makes sense. It's anyway, moving on. Also Queen City, because that is kind of more heritage stuff. So we like that. But also the crown works too, because like Queen City, but like with crown. I don't know. I like them. I like the name so far, what we have going on here. I do have high hopes for Cincinnati getting this bid. This is a very huge time for the NWSL, and I will make sure to continue updating you guys on the innovation within the league, because this is very important with the league. Considering that the NWSL has not gotten much attention in past years, we've seen, so this is very exciting that they're, getting another expansion team. It's very exciting. So we're now going to move on to our next segment, where we're going to talk about the U.S. rowing team roster for the Olympics, where we dive into that, literally dive into that. I know, I'm clever with that one. We're going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys very soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done talking about some NWSL updates, and now we're going to be talking about Olympic rowing. This is our last segment of today. Thank you guys for sticking around for it. I'm excited to talk about the rowing team. So with the Olympics approaching, official team rosters are being announced, and one very important sport in the U.S. is rowing, and that team roster was just announced, like the official roster. The U.S. qualified 12 crews for the Olympics, including the women's single sculls, men's single sculls, women's double sculls, men's double sculls, lightweight women's double sculls, women's quadruple sculls, women's pair, women's four, women's 8, and men's 8. The U.S. leads the way with Romania in qualifying the most boats to race in Paris. Of the 42 athletes who will be competing in Paris, 17 are returning Olympians with 3 Olympic medals amongst them. 38 have competed on previous senior national teams, while 4 will be making their senior team debuts. So let's dive into all of the athletes competing on the U.S. rowing team. We, of course, are just going to feature the female athletes because this is the Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast. For the single sculls, we got Kara Kohler, so we're going to be starting with single sculls. I'm going to be saying skulls a lot in this, so I apologize if I start to stutter or I end up not being able to pronounce skulls, okay? That's what happened when I say a word for so many times in a short period of time, is I just can't say it after a while. So this will be Kohler's 3rd Olympics. She won bronze in the women's quadruple sculls in 2012 and raced the single at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Competing as the only woman in the single sculls, she obviously won the single sculls at the Olympic trials this year. That just is a given. So you can already assume who won the Olympic trials when I talk about all these people. That is just an FYI. So just don't want to keep saying who won the Olympic trials when it's kind of obvious, since they're all going to be competing at the Olympics. Anyway. So Kohler also won the single sculls at the 2023 senior national team trials at the 2022 World Championship trials. Hopefully she does well against the high competition in the Olympics. In the 2024 World Rowing Cup, she finished 7th, and then the 2023 World Rowing Championship, she finished 4th. She has yet to finish in the top 3 in the World Rowing Championships, but having placed bronze in the Tokyo Olympics puts her in a good position for the Paris Olympics. For the double sculls, we have Christy Wagner and Sophia Vidas. This is Wagner's 2nd Olympics, and she finished 5th in the Tokyo Olympics in the double sculls. Vidas nearly made the team in 2020 for the Olympics, but during the team selection process, she fractured her ribs, which is actually a common injury in rowing, which ultimately ended her Olympic chances, unfortunately. They both have shown a lot of improvement since having won the double sculls at the 2024 World Rowing Cup. And the year before that, they finished in third in the double sculls at the 2023 World Rowing Championships. For the lightweight double sculls, we have Molly Reckford and Michelle Chesner. This is both their second Olympics, and they finished fifth in the 2020 Olympics. They finished third in the 2024 World Rowing Cup, second in the 2023 World Rowing Championships, and second in the 2022 World Rowing Championships. I have a lot of confidence in them this year. They have shown a lot of improvement these past years after the Tokyo Olympics, and I feel like they definitely can medal. So, a lot of confidence there. For the women's pair, we have Jessica Thiones, and I am so sorry, I am so bad at pronouncing names. We already know that. We have Asya Shavskowitz. So Thiones competed in the 8 rowing team in the 2020 Olympics, so she is not a newbie to the Olympics. Her boat finished 2 seconds behind the bronze medalist to land in 4th, but this is Zakowski's first time competing at the Olympics and Thiones' first time competing in pairs at the Olympics. So, I mean, even though Thiones is not a newbie to the Olympics, this is her first time competing in this type of rowing category. So it is still very pressuring and very, it's definitely like pretty risky, but it is what it is. In the trials, the duo was tied for first at the 500 meter split before making a huge move to the second quarter of the race to take a 5-second lead at the midway point, ultimately winning by 7 seconds. What's very, very impressive about this duo, not just that huge time gap there, but is that they've only been practicing for less than 2 weeks before the trials. So, think about how much they could do not practicing more than 2 weeks. So I do have a lot of confidence with them, but it is, considered risky since they have not been competing at the Olympics before in pairs, and they are more, I don't want to say focused, but they're more known for other events in rowing. But given that they've literally been so successful only with 2 weeks of practice is so insane to me. So I have a lot of confidence in them. But with Zakowski as her partner, Thiones thinks their chances in pairs are good, and they have confidence. Themselves have confidence. And it's good to see that they have confidence going into the Olympics. But it will be interesting given that this is their first time both competing as pairs in the Olympics. For the quadruple sculls, we have Lauren O'Connor, Teal Cohen, Emily Delaman, and Grace Joyce. O'Connor finished 11th in the quadruple sculls at the 2023 World Rowing Championships, and Cohen and Delaman won in the quadruple sculls at the 2024 World Rowing Final Olympic and Paralympic Qualification Regatta, and that is an international competition. Joyce was not part of the team in that competition, but she did win gold in the quadruple sculls in the 2023 Pan American Games, and she was part of the 11th finish with O'Connor in the 2023 World Rowing Championships. For the women's 4, we have Caitlin Nifton, Mary Mazio Manson, Kelsey Raylick, and Emmy Kaufels. Nifton and Mazio Manson are both star athletes from UT Austin. Nifton was named the Big 12 Athlete of the Year in 2023. She, Mazio Manson, Redlick, and Kaufels also finished third in the 4 at the 2023 World Rowing Cup. 2024 World Rowing Cup. Redlick also finished 4th in the 4 at the 2023 World Rowing Championships and gold at the 2023 World Rowing Cup. On the other hand, Kaufels is more known for achievements and work in the quadruple sculls. She finished 11th in the quadruple sculls at the 2023 World Rowing Championships, 7th at the 2023 World Rowing Cup, and 9th in the 2022 World Rowing Championships. Even though she doesn't have many top placements in the women's 4, she still is a great contender for the team. For the women's 8, we have Christina Kastagna. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at pronouncing names, and it's so embarrassing. Charlotte Buck, Olivia Coffey, Claire Collins, Megan Musnicki, Regina Salmons, Madeline Wanamaker, Margaret Hedeman, and Molly Bruggeman. Musnicki is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the women's 8 in 2012 and 2016, and this is her 4th Olympic Games, having raced the 8 in Tokyo as well. Castagna, Buck, Coffey, Collins, Musnicki, Salmons, Wanamaker, Hedeman, and Bruggeman finished 3rd in the 8 at the 2024 World Rowing Cup, and Castagna, Buck, Salmons, and Hedeman finished 2nd at the 2023 World Rowing Championships. Coffey and Musnicki also finished 4th in the 8 at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Musnicki also finished 3rd at the 2019 World Rowing Championships and gold at the 2016, 2015, 2014, and 2013 World Rowing Cup. To add, Salmon's finished 4th in the 8 at the 2022 World Rowing Championships. They are a stacked team, for sure. A lot of confidence going into the Olympics with them. There are also going to be 5 alternates on the team, and 3 of them are female athletes. Emily Frolick, Alina Hagstrom, and Sophia Lewis. Frolick and Hagstrom finished 11th in the pair at the 2024 World Rowing Cup and 2nd in the 8 at the 2023 World Rowing Championship. Hagstrom also finished 4th in the 8 at the 2022 World Rowing Championships and won the pair at the 2018 World Rowing Under 23 Championships. Lastly, Lewis finished 2nd in the lightweight singles sculls at the 2024 World Rowing Cup, 3rd in the 2023 World Rowing Championships, and gold at the 2023 World Rowing Cup. When you are picking alternates for a rowing team, you have to consider like if they are good in multiple events, because they can't just be good at one event. Like they can't just have like one super big, like this is like my event, because they're alternates, so you never know who's getting an injury or needs help out. So all 3 of them, I will say, are very much confident in all events pretty much. They obviously are more skilled in certain events than others, but these are perfect 3 female, I was going to say pairs, but that might be confusing considering that it's a rowing event. But this is like a perfect 3 trio here, trio females alternates that are going in as alternates because they all exceed so well in different events that they all just kind of like mash together, if that makes sense. So like if there is an injury, like it isn't too much of a concern for the team because these 3 are all really skilled. Like they're very trustworthy going into as alternates, if that makes sense. You have to be very trusting in your alternates in the team. So that concludes our show for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And we do YouTube shorts on our YouTube channel, GSMC Sports Network and GSMC Podcast Network. Thank you guys once again and have a wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.